On September 8th of 2025, Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found in the trunk of singer David's Tesla car. It's now November 2025, and there's still no arrest for Celeste's murder, allegedly, quote unquote.
What is that? September,
Two
October,
months.
November. Yeah. Well, we're at the end of November.
So
3
two and a
months.
half, well,
Yeah,
two,
2.5
two
because
or
it
two and
started
a
at
half.
the 8th. Yeah.
Yes. So 2.5 months since, she was found deceased. But more information has came out. So there's a lot of things that are going on right now that have people question whether if somebody did murder Celeste or it was on accident, possibly a drug overdose. Still, a lot of people are questioning the fact that if the parents are involved because of the fact that when she was missing, her parents actually had seen her after she was reported missing up until the day she passed. Her parents stated that they haven't seen her for like 2 years. There's a lot of evidence that kind of points to the fact that it's not true. So it's all a big mess right now. More updates came out literally yesterday, but we'll talk about that. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. This episode contains discussion of sensitive topics that may be distressing for some audiences. Please take care while listening, and if these topics are triggering for you, we encourage you to prioritize your well-being. Welcome to Tea
And E
with the
a
T. I'm your host, Teresa.
I'm your co-host, Edwin.
And in this podcast, we talk about true crime. So if you like true crime, please subscribe, like, and comment.
And if you're interested in listening or watching more from us, check out our other videos.
So we're going to do a little bit of a recap, okay? So if people are just tuning in and haven't
I was going to ask for that.
What?
A little
recap?
Yeah.
So if you don't remember, and also people are just tuning in into our podcast, a little bit of backstory of what we talked about in the first episode of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, because we did do an episode on her already in the situation with David.
And her all past and David's upcoming and everything.
So basically, what we talked about, or who is Celeste Rivas Hernandez? She was a 14-year-old that was found in the trunk of a car. A Tesla car. Basically the front, because the front.
Oh, yeah, right. It is the front. I always thought it was the back. I was thinking the back. I didn't even, oh yeah, it is small. I didn't even think of.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah. So she was found in the trunk of a Tesla car, and they immediately found out that the owner of that Tesla car was this singer named David. And David was a 20-year-old, I believe. I forgot to write that down. But I think he was 20. He was a lot older than Celeste. Allegedly, David and Celeste were a thing. So they were basically dating since she was possibly, allegedly, supposedly 11 to 12 years old. And he was the age of 17.
But a lot of that was through gaming.
A lot of it was through Discord. Discord is where people online, basically Reddit, they found a lot of messages from Discord, and then people from TikTok as well. Supposedly there was also comments of people saying, oh, you're with a minor and all this stuff. So a lot of people kind of already knew about it. But anyways, so that's how old she was, and that supposedly they were dating. And he was about 16, 17 years old when he was dating Celeste, allegedly, and she was about 11 or 12. Now, Celeste had allegedly run away, and let me not say allegedly because it is proven that she had ran away about 3 times as far as we know of, right? So supposedly it was all within 2024. So Celeste had ran away in January, then again in February, and then again in March. So March was allegedly the last time that her family had seen her, and the last time we saw her in the, what's it called, cameras, in the surveillance cameras. And
yeah, she was hidden.
And that she never came back. But all of that is not true. She did come back home. Well, at least come back to her family.
This is new news?
Yeah, so people are starting to find out the dates of everything, of what everything has gone.
I wonder who's the whistleblower.
What do you mean?
Who's snitching?
Who's snitching?
Yeah.
Well, her family.
Oh, really?
There's some people. There's some of her family members. Well, okay. Long story short, there's a private investigator that has talked to some family members. Who's
private investigator?
There's a private investigator. We'll get to it, but basically, there's private investigator that is involved, and he has talked to the family members, and there's some chisme going around, and yeah. But anyways, she was allegedly was not found, and her parents did not know of her until the day they found out that she was deceased.
That's crazy.
Allegedly. There have been multiple pictures and videos that people have seen, or that have gone through the internet, social media, of her and David. Now, this was around 2024 to 2025. So that made people speculate, or make people think, oh, she's hiding with David. David has her in his home. The parents did know about David, about supposedly her boyfriend, because when she was found deceased, the parents did come out stating that she did have a boyfriend named David, and people started finding out that they had matching tattoos. So a lot of people started making the connection and confirming. Well, people thought they were confirming, because we don't know yet if it's true or not, but it's kind of obvious that they were a couple. The parents supposedly didn't know of David's age. And then vice versa, David's friends supposedly, allegedly, did not know Celeste's age, her age, because they were thinking that she was 19. But she was 13 to 14 years old. So it's like, I don't understand. I don't understand her, but whatever. But yeah,
because she looks young, or what?
She looks older. Well, some people say that she did look young, but nowadays you can't really like state, oh, they look young, they look older. So like, I don't believe it, because honestly, like, there's people that look
all types of age.
Yeah, there's people that look young, and they're like in their 40s, and they look like they're in their early 30s. And then there's people that.
How old do y'all think I look?
40.
I'm 28. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I look 28. To some people, I look 28. To some people, I look younger.
I think you look.
Some 28. People say I look older. I don't get that a lot.
I don't think you look older. I think you look your age. But like for me, for instance, they think that I'm like 23, 22. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm 27. Dang. And they're like, dang, you 27. Yeah. So definitely it's like, it's a hit or miss. Like, you really can't stay, oh, well, they look young. I mean, at the end of the day, like, you can tell somebody, hey, I'm 19 years old, and they'll probably believe you, But I don't know how much of that is true, that David's friends believed that Celeste was 19, because it's like she couldn't get into certain like areas. Yeah. So like, people had to suspect something, I don't know. The Tesla car where he abandoned, right? And allegedly, or supposedly, that's where Celeste was already in the car. Well, I'm not going to say supposedly, because she was. She was already in the Tesla trunk during this time. So August 27th, the tire is marked. September 3rd, there's a citation for a parking violation. So now they're basically warning you, or warning David, whoever owns the car, to move the car, because it's not supposed to be parked here. And then on September 5th, the Tesla is impounded. And on September 8th, her body is found. And then on September 16th, it is confirmed that it's Celeste's body in the trunk. And I didn't want to bring this up now, but I am going to bring it up because it kind of fits with what we're talking about. But it is now confirmed, because she was in a bag when she was found. She was in a bag and her body parts were not together. So they were dismembered. She was dismembered. And they were thinking that she was dismembered because of she was decomposing, because she was supposedly there for possibly a month or maybe longer. They don't know yet. We still don't know that information. But it was actually confirmed that she was dismembered, which means she was cut up in pieces. And only a few pieces of her body was found in the bag. So it's crazy.
So somebody chopped her up.
Yes,
and kept some parts.
I don't know what. I don't know. I'm not sure with that. We don't have a lot of information about her body, really. We just know that.
Or what if she was already decomposing while they were putting her in the bag?
No, they confirmed that she was dismembered. Meaning it wasn't her.
Well, it was chopped up.
Yeah. Because at first I couldn't really tell, because she was decomposing. But then they confirmed it just recently. David was on tour during the time that they found her body in the Tesla car. But he immediately, when they found out, or when the news came out that it was Celeste's body that was in the trunk, he canceled his tour.
Yeah, I remember that.
And literally the day after that day, he canceled the tour. And yeah, and now he is basically nowhere to be found. Okay. So that's the full story of what happened, or a little bit of I guess, a summary of who Celeste is, who David is, and could have potentially, maybe, supposedly, allegedly, been involved in her death. We're kind of going to talk about Celeste's parents in this episode, because I feel like there's a lot of talks about her parents allegedly hiding the fact that she was actually found and no longer missing through the time period that we thought that she was missing. Okay? So they had stated before that they put out a whole flyer that she went missing, and that was the last time that they saw her. But on September 8th of 2024, there was a video, and I know we talked about this a little bit in the first episode, of Celeste getting in an argument with a neighbor. That video is of Celeste arguing with a neighbor, and this neighbor is the neighbor of her parents' house. And that was September 8th of 2024. So she was home. But allegedly, she's been missing since the day that she was found deceased. So that was weird, right? We found out that date of the video. Mm-hmm. And then now, the private investigator, which his name is Steve Fisher, he was hired by David's former landlord of the home that he, was renting. Well, it wasn't under him. It was under his manager's name, Josh something. But it was under his manager's name, and David was living in it. The landlord didn't even know that David was living in it until this whole situation happened. And so, anyways, he was hired by the landlord of that home, and this private investigator was told by a family member of Celeste that his parents told other family members, or told those family members, to not look for Celeste because she's staying with other family members in LA.
And yes, I was told by a source very close that on the last time she went missing, the family members were saying, don't look for her. She's staying with other family members near LA.
So it's like, why would her parents say that to, people?
Yeah.
There are other things going around. Celeste's ex has came out to do an interview, and he stated that Celeste's parents were like not good parents. That Celeste at times would want to run away because she was not being treated well by her parents.
How her mom didn't treat her well or whatever, and she didn't like where she was at.
Did she talk at all about her relationship with her parents?
Kind of. She just said they were mean or whatever. She didn't like them, and she told me, my friend, that she was running away.
I don't want to say it makes sense, because if the private investigator talks to a family member that stated that her parents, Celeste's parents, stated to them to not look for her, that she was staying with family members in LA, she was staying with David in LA. So it's like, David's not a family member. So what's going on there? Like, and then the fact that, they know that her kid is dating this guy, but your kid is 13 years old and you're letting them go. Like, you're not taking care of them very well. So I don't know. Maybe there's some truth into it, but it's just a little odd. So during the time that she had left the home, she dropped out of school. She was only in 7th or 8th grade. So the fact that her parents knowing that she dropped out of school, because her parents had to know, they have to have known, because they get a phone call and they can get in trouble for not having your kid in school. They can get a court. They can go to court for that. So I don't know how they did that whole situation, but maybe that's another reason why they didn't. That's another reason why they didn't report that she was found, because she was no longer going to school. So if they reported that she was found and then she hasn't been going to school this whole entire time, then they're gonna call CPS on them and then try to figure out what's going on.
Allegedly, could be another reason.
Yes. Also, there was a cousin of Celeste. Her name is Esmeralda. And Esmeralda had a graduation in May 30th of 2024, and Celeste attended that graduation. So it's not like Celeste just showed up by herself. One, she can't drive, and then plus it's a family kind of
event, a
function, right? So there had to be other family members there. So she was not missing. This was literally 2 months after she was reported missing. So it's like, it's another thing that was weird. And then another thing is that investigators found in Davis' home after the LAPD, kind of raided the home, which David ended up moving out right after they raided the home, but they didn't take everything. LAPD didn't take everything, and neither did David. But basically, the private investigator found a Build-A-Bear certificate belonging to Esmeralda. Esmeralda is the cousin of Celeste, the one that she went to her graduation to. Tell me why he had that. So it seems
David took her to Esmeralda's graduation.
It seems like the family knew that she was with this guy named David, and they knew where he lived, and they knew the situation. Because that's a family member. You're not telling me that the family's not telling each other what's going on?
Yeah, family gossips like crazy.
Yeah, so.
Well, they can keep secrets, maybe.
So this Build-A-Bear was purchased on April 21st of 2024. Literally 16 days. She went missing in April. My mistake. It wasn't in March. It was April of 2024, 16 days after she was reported missing. It's really weird that she was reported missing the whole entire time, but she was found. And the parents did not report to the police that she was found. So allegedly, everybody still thought that she was a missing person.
What if Esmeralda kept the secret?
I mean, she could have. She could have. But for her to go to her graduation, take a picture with Esmeralda, and post it on the internet, I don't know how much of that is a secret.
Yeah.
And then in September, she was at her parents' home.
Yeah.
So there's really no secret.
You think, but you have to report somebody like found?
Once somebody is reported missing, you report them found so that the police does not
searching.
Yeah. But a lot of people suspect the reason why she was never reported found was because they will investigate more and probably put or send what is it called whenever
Child protection.
Yeah, whenever they go check up on the family home and see if there's anything going on there. Because then they're suspect, okay, why did you run away? What's going on? Like, why is there so many runaways throughout this time period, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so it's really weird. But that's the whole situation with the parents, and we're not 100% sure. They really haven't said anything. She's from El Salvador. Yeah, people. She's from El Salvador. I'm sorry. She's from El Salvador. So a lot of people were thinking that she was Mexican, but she's actually Salvadorian. And her parents do have papers. So people were thinking that they didn't have papers. So they didn't want to speak or whatever, but they do have papers. They are from, well, not from here, but they got their papers in 2001. So they're not speaking because they don't want to speak about it. They haven't came out to say anything.
They said, fíjate, cipota, yo no voy a decir nada de eso, fijo. Esos majes están locos. No van a llegar haciendo pupusas. Vaya.
You would know.
Vaya.
We're going to talk about the private investigator now and what he has found in the home of David. There's a lot of things that supposedly he's found around where the car was found. That's where the house of David was at. So this was in Hollywood. That's where people thought that's where Celeste was at. But it comes to find out that she was actually in another house that he owned or rented, but we'll get to that. So there is no specific crime scene that was in the home. So that's the home. Well, they looked into both the homes. LAPD looked into both of the homes, but this was the first home that they looked at because that's where the card was at, right? So when they look at this home, or when the private investigator goes to look at this home, he notices that there's really not much of a crime scene. Okay, so there's really not much to say like, oh, there was a murder here. But there is a lot of like kind of stuff that made it seem like they had planned something and it just didn't go as planned.
Wow.
Okay.
Tell me more.
So what they did, or what it seems like to the investigator, was the fact that they had thought this out, not necessarily to murder her, but to get rid of her. And the Tesla was just trying to like be a cover up, but it ended up like being dragged out, so they didn't get to the point where they wanted to be. That's what the private investigator states. It's not confirmed. This is what he's found. He doesn't state exactly what he found because he can't really, he's trying not to say too much to kind of like, I guess, mess up the LAPD and what they're doing, because he's not trying to do that. He's just trying to, figure out. He was hired by the landlord of this home, and they're just trying to figure out if anything happened in the home that he owns, right? And so what happened with Celeste, but not necessarily trying to put out anything before LAPD or trying to contradict LAPD. He's just trying to do his job, what he was hired for, right?
His own thing, yeah.
So they know who was driving the Tesla before, it was abandoned, but he doesn't state who. He just sees or has seen in the surveillance cameras or the person that was driving that car, or they abandoned it. People suspect that it's David's friend that was the person that was driving the car, and he had possibly been involved, or could have possibly been involved, allegedly, in this whole situation. So people say that him and David had a romantic relationship, and that's why they were trying to, quote unquote, get rid of her. But it's alleged, right? Supposedly, from what the private investigator stated, that the car wasn't even used since late July of 2025. So if you remember from the first episode, we did talk about when David went on tour. David ended up going on tour late July. July 30th is the day that he started his tour.
Yeah.
So immediately, as soon as the car was abandoned, the tour bus came to pick them up and they left. That was the last time the car was driven, and obviously that was where it was left, and it was abandoned there on the street.
Yeah.
Okay. So the investigator knows that because he's seen surveillance cameras of when it was last, moved, and he knows who was driving it, but did not state that. He doesn't want to release it because, like I said, he doesn't want to mess up LAPD's stuff. Pictures were found taken by David on this camera of Celeste, and this was the last picture that he saw of Celeste by David. Does that make sense? So the private investigator found a camera, and there's this one picture that was found of Celeste, and that's the last picture that he's seen of Celeste. No other picture has been found of Celeste this year, and that was in January 2nd of 2025. That was the last picture that was seen. In that same camera, there were other pictures. There's a statement that came out from a private investigator, and I'm just going to read you a part of it. But basically it says, there is a photo evidence of them together again on January 2nd of 2025, which is what's found in the camera. Then on January 8th, a sizable crew was filming a music video with David out of state, which is the picture of the setup that I was showing you. And then by January 11th, David is in his home in Texas, so that either one of these. And then on January 20th, 2025, he is on a Delta flight. This picture of the setup of the music video had caught people's eye because of the fact that it seemed like it was during the time of this one song that was released, which is called One More Dance, okay? So One More Dance is a really popular song. It went viral, but it seems like that could have been the time where they were filming that music video specifically, because in One More Dance, there's a scene where it shows that little wood area that you just saw in that picture. And it just makes people feel very odd because in One More Dance, they show David murdering someone in the music video, and then they put him in the trunk. The girl in the music video, she looks just like Celeste, especially with the nose piercing that Celeste has. But it just seems weird to people because it's like, okay, Celeste was found. Yeah, Celeste was found in the trunk, and then the fact that the girl in the music video looks like Celeste. And we talked about this in the first episode, that a lot of his music videos, most of the girls like Celeste. So there's something there. But yeah, so it just makes people feel odd about that music video specifically. And the private investigator's gut is thinking that she had possibly could have overdosed, which led to her death. And they as in David and whoever helped, because this was not a one-man job, because she was dismembered, did not do it in a very smart way. But there were pills found in the home as well that made his assumption kind of seem a little bit more believable, because these pills are basically, they're pain relievers. They're
opioids,
something like that. He doesn't know who they're prescribed to. It just seems a little, weird to have pain relievers in your home. Who would need that? And that's what he thinks out of the things that he's found so far. So now there's new updates. There's a lot of updates. David ended up transferring his ownership of allegedly 2 homes that he had in Texas under his mom's name as soon as they found out who it was. So this happened in September when he did that. He changed the ownership. So why would he want to do that? For what? That's just a little sus, right? It could be that. Wait, insurance reasons? Why?
Like, not insurance, like to insure himself.
That he doesn't lose his stuff?
If anything happens, yeah. At least his mom said.
But that's crazy, because if you thought that, if you knew that you were innocent, you wouldn't do that.
And then also, like, the record label might, like, drop him. So.
But if he was innocent, he wouldn't have to do all that.
Yeah, but still.
And this record label wouldn't even drop him.
Destroy you.
I don't know. It's weird to me. But anyways, there was another thing that, and I don't know if we talked about this in the first episode, but it did come out at that time. There was a video coming out of his parents talking. Well, the police came to their door, to David's parents' house, and stated that they had gotten a phone call from somebody that stated that they heard gunshots at basically the home, and a girl screaming.
We got a phone call from here saying that somebody was dead. Is there somebody else that lives on this property that has your address? What's your address? That's it. We got an address. There was a gunshot and a woman screamed. I'm serious. That's why we came up here like this, because and then they talked to the caller. Whoever they were talking to said that there's a person dead.
No, sir. No, sir. To find out that it was actually a setup, so that did not happen. It was not something that they heard.
It wasn't true.
Yeah, it wasn't true. And supposedly, the person that called was using a voice changer. And they are thinking, people that have listened to the 911 call, and I'm going to have you listen to it too, it sounds like David.
Waller County Sheriff's Office is Amber. Hello? Yeah, Waller County Sheriff's Office.
Hello, I need help.
Okay, what's going on? Where are you at?
My address is...
Okay, what's going on?
I heard, some, gunshots.
Okay. How close to your residence were they?
They were, right outside my house, and I think someone's dead.
And then there's another video. It's a live stream that is talking about the situation with Celeste being found, and the whole situation with David possibly being the person that allegedly murdered her. And he's kind of, in this live stream, this person is kind of making it seem like it's not a big deal, or what he's saying is very controversial, and people think that it sounds exactly like the 911 call, which they assume that was David. So allegedly, the person that was talking in that live stream could have been David with a voice changer.
I knew it sounded like him.
This is his executive assistant right here, or him.
So are we hearing this, guys?
Yeah, everybody could see how biased you are with literally just.
It's not about being biased. It's about using common sense.
Because your profile is
get dropped.
That's
He's a bot.
Don't drop him. Open your camera.
Open my camera?
Yes.
Let's see that you're not like a 50-year-old man working in the background.
Right?
Yeah, he's gonna run away in a minute. Watch.
Bro, he's gonna drop.
He knows that he's caught.
Guys, I don't know if y'all think y'all look cute or if you think you're funny.
Now, David has not been heard this whole entire time, so nobody knows if David we haven't heard from him, and he hasn't came out with any statements. But this is the only thing that people assume that this was him, because it was very controversial what he was saying. TMZ is the people that kind of releases more of the news of what's going on, because they have inside of somebody from the LAPD talking to them and telling them the story. But supposedly the LAPD stated that they're not close to arresting somebody.
They're not?
No. So they stated that literally, like, I think 2 days ago, that they were not close to arresting anybody, that they were still looking on to the case and was still trying to find evidence and everything like that. But I don't think that's true, because they're not going to tell us, because they don't want to say anything and then have the people that they're suspecting that did it lawyer up or run.
Yeah.
So they're trying to keep it on the low and try not to say too
much.
Using
TMZ to their advantage kind of deal.
Yes and no, but I think they're just trying to keep it on the low because they try not to say anything. Obviously, people are pushing and wanting to know more information. So they'll release very general stuff, but nothing very specific, if that makes sense. But they did state that they're not close to making an arrest, and that the medical and toxicology still haven't released the information, or still haven't given them the report of how she was murdered or how she died.
Yeah.
Okay. Supposedly that's what they said, but that's crazy to me. It's already been 2 months and they still don't know. Like, it's insane. But I think they already know. They just don't want to state it yet, because they want to gather
too much lunch breaks.
I think they want to gather as much information as possible before to say something, because if they do say something and it was wrong, they could mess up the whole case.
Or they lawyer up and they get really good with the lawyers and not have enough evidence to knock them down.
Exactly. David, as of yesterday, okay, because before this, like I said, they had said that they're not close to arresting anybody, but yesterday they said that, well, okay, let me not say that LAPD said it, because TMZ came out and stated that somebody in the, the, what are they called? Not the police.
LAPD.
The police, somebody from the LAPD stated that David is a suspect.
Again?
What do you mean again? He's never been a suspect.
Oh, really?
As of what we were told, nobody was a suspect at that moment.
Even if that was his car?
Even if that was his car. Supposedly, this is what they said, that he wasn't a suspect. But to this day, they didn't confirm that if that is true. They said, we don't confirm nor deny those things being said about David being a suspect. But we're still ongoing with the case, and we will let you guys know whenever we, know who it is. But basically, that's what TMZ stated. They came out with this video yesterday and stated that they heard from insiders that David is a suspect at the moment, and that they also are looking into a situation, or a little, I guess, getaway that he did, which this was in the spring of 2025. He had went to Santa Barbara County in LA, basically in a remote area, so in an area that's very far away from the city. And he was there for several hours and then ended up returning back to LA, where his home is at. So the fact that they are looking into that time frame, or that runaway that he did, is suspicious, because why would the LAPD want to look into that if it allegedly didn't have anything to do with the situation? And why was he gone for several hours in a remote area? So
yeah, that's weird.
Well, this was spring of 2025. So spring of 2025, this is about March, April to May, beginning of May. Okay. So it's just really weird. So it kind of shows, or it kind of suspects, or people are suspecting that possibly Celeste, if this situation has something to do with it, if him getting away for that long has something to do with the situation with Celeste, and if allegedly he murdered her, that could have been the time where she was allegedly murdered. And she's been dead since then, because people still, or they don't know how long she has been dead for yet, but they were suspecting about a month or 2, but it could have been more. We don't know. So another thing is that they also state that if this was the case, allegedly he went there to allegedly murder Celeste or dismember her, he was not alone. He was with other people, because the way she was dismembered, he needed help. Or whoever did it needed help.
What?
Yeah. So
I'm over here thinking how
what?
How she needed to be dismembered by multiple people.
Well, I don't think it's an easy job to be cutting up somebody's body. That's not an easy job. People that do that, I mean, we've heard serial killers that have dismembered people's bodies.
Yeah.
And these usually they are very like big men. David is a very
small.
I'm not saying that he's like scrawny, but he's not. Doesn't seem like a person that can have the strength to be able to dismember somebody so easily. But I don't know. That's what the private investigator stated, that he could, the way she was dismembered, he needed help. There's no way that he did that by himself. So I'm going to talk about a little bit of the evidence that people have found now that connects Celeste to David for sure. That it seems like, she was involved with David, because a lot of people were questioning, they were saying allegedly, but now it kind of seems like she was. So there was a picture, and I don't know if you remember this picture, where she had the pink sweatpants. So that was backstage of one of his concerts. This was June of 2024. So June 27th, 2024. That same day, there was a picture taken of David with his sister on stage, and she's back there, Celeste. So that's when they're like, okay, definitely she was there. And the thing is that even people that were around him, his friends, were also there that day, because there was pictures taken of a whole group. She wasn't in it though, but everybody else was in it, and it was that same day. So they know that she was there. They know of Celeste. And there was other evidence that she was with him in his home, and that she was hiding in this one specific home that he rented, and this was the one in downtown LA. So it wasn't the one in Hollywood where the car was found, but this house that was rented off to David, well, his manager, but David was living there, was 4 minutes away from the Hollywood home where the car was found. Okay, so a lot of people on the internet found evidence to basically showing which home she was staying in, or which home she was mostly in, because these were the pictures that were mostly taken, or things or videos that were mostly taken within this home. They didn't see anything else in the other home. People were going in. I feel like they should be private investigators, but anyways. So the first image is of the bathroom image. It's exactly the same. Like, they literally went on Zillow or whatever place to look up the images of each room, and they found this room, and it's exactly the same thing, or the same image as the picture they took together. And there's another one. I don't know if you remember of the live stream.
Yeah.
This is allegedly a picture she took. There's one more picture. Allegedly, this is a picture that she also took. It's the same person in this picture. And they confirmed it was the house. Yeah, people were going in on the internet and they were looking for every evidence. They were like, okay, well, we're going to confirm to you that Celeste was in this home and she was hiding here. This was like her basically hiding spot. And they found the pictures. If, in this case, allegedly, if Celeste wasn't murdered, whoever dismembered her, because obviously there has to be someone to dismember a body, whoever dismembered her could obviously get arrested for other charges. So one thing in LA, in California, there is this offenses against public justice. So basically what this states is, for purposes of this section, to actively conceal an accidental death means any of the following: to perform an overt act that conceals the body or directly impedes the ability of authorities or family members to discover the body. So obviously that was done.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is to directly destroy or suppress evidence of the actual physical body of the deceased, including but not limited to body fluids or tissues. That was also done because she was dismembered. And then another thing, to destroy or suppress the actual physical instrumental of death. Another thing is a person who willfully mutilates remains known to be a human without authority of law is guilty of a felony. And there was so somebody is going to go to jail no matter what, obviously, because you can't dismember a body. If they find them. I mean, David is allegedly a suspect at the moment, but we're not 100% sure. LAPD did not confirm nor deny that he is actually a suspect, but it seems like it's kind of leading them to it. But LAPD does not want to confirm because it can mess up the things that they're doing and possibly scare David or whoever is involved, and they can lawyer up, and now that messes up their whole investigation. So they're probably very upset right now. So we're trying to take things lightly. But yeah, that's the whole situation right now. Those are the updates that have came out. If I miss anything, please let me know in the comments. Or if I messed up anything, please let me know in the comments, because I am only human and I try to do my best when I research. So if I did say anything wrong, I apologize. But yes.
Leave a comment down below if you have any news that we haven't gotten. And I bet you there's going to continue to be a lot more news.
Yeah, because just yesterday,
all of it down so everybody knows.
One thing I do want to say is that before we end the video, there was a time period where it was literally radio silence. There was nothing being said until literally recently. Yesterday and the day before is when a lot more things started coming out. But yeah, so maybe there'll be radio silence once again, and then maybe later on we'll get something. But hopefully we will get justice or Celeste will get justice for her death, and maybe we'll find out exactly what happened. Peace. Yeah, rest in peace, because it's definitely very traumatic as a 14-year-old having to go through, or her parents having to go through something like that. That's so sad.
Well,
yeah.
You guys like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, and I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one.
Deuces.